my name is Jennifer McCune. Welcome to the Mompreneur Next Door. This is a fantastic platform for moms supporting moms, moms who might already be entrepreneurs, moms who might be thinking of entrepreneurs, and we highlight different moms to represent all the wonderful things that we can be doing while we still have flexibility to be with our kids. And so this can serve as inspiration to you, support. If you are a mom and are interested in being highlighted, let me know. So today I am super excited to highlight Dori DeCarlo. And Dori and I connected through a great platform called Haro. If you haven't taken a look, take a look. It's a wonderful place to connect with other incredible entrepreneurs and people in general. And Dori and I connected that way, and I'm so excited to highlight her today. She is a self-proclaimed glamapreneur, which is really fun. And a lot of times when we as moms are thinking of doing businesses, we have a few different ideas in mind, and they might be in the direct sales arena, they might be product driven, they might be service driven. What's so unique about Dori is she went from mompreneur to glamapreneur, meaning she's now a grandmother, and she's done all three of these. So, Dori, I'm so excited for you to be able to share your story and kind of start from the beginning. How did you even get involved in entrepreneurship?
Well, I was a single mom and I wanted to find a way to always be home with my kids. I worked when their dad had them and I was waiting tables. And it was so funny. It was 5 weeks before my 35th birthday. I actually had a nightmare that I was an 80-year-old waitress with a walker and a tray and a beehive hairdo and corrective shoes, walking up to people going, "You want coffee with your scone, darling?" And that the day before that nightmare, this woman had come in who was with an MLM and had brought in a recruit to show her how easy it was to recruit someone. I was that person. The woman she had brought in never stayed with the company. I wound up with the company for a few years. And it enabled me to have the flexibility of being home with my kids, share these fabulous products. I never looked at it as people have this mistaken view of an MLM that, your job is to recruit people and get them in. No, you find a great product, you're sharing it. People see that you're happy, that your hair looks great, or whatever you're sharing. They ask, "Wow, what have you done that is making you look so good?" And you get to share this. And then if they're looking for an opportunity to make some extra money, you can introduce them to it. But people really have this misconception of what a multi-level company, a marketing company is. And somebody had put up a post about, who's with a real company. They are real companies. And I really look at it that if I hadn't gone through working with an MLM for years and all the trainings that I went to and realizing, why am I going to work this hard to build somebody else's business? I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And it's really funny because it morphed into, I actually got a job in a company as an independent salesperson and then wound up becoming VP of that, but then met these other two women and then started a business with them. But then there were things that weren't working, and I was like, you know what? Again, if I'm going to work this hard, it may as well be my business. And myself and this amazing woman, Linda Cherry, who is the phenomenal webmaster, who she and I have been designing websites since it was a .com dial-up. And she is the person who's behind Safety Bags and StadiumBags.com and why we are so high in our Google rankings and things. We're on page 1, and it's because of her and her expertise. But all of these things, the same thing with Word of Mom Radio, that has now become the media network that it is. And we're getting ready to launch our Mompreneur Marketplace to be able to bring women together, to be able to find and support each other, because that's what it's all about, no matter what your business is. Whether you're with an MLM, you've started a product. I'm a product-driven company, but then Word of Mom is a service-driven company because we share. I had the opportunity to have Jennifer on our show. And so it has just all grown on its own. But believe me, I would have never had the understanding and the knowledge of creating something and building something if I hadn't started. on
Right.
that multi-level journey.
And
I
I
really
think it
wouldn't.
is really interesting. I love what you've done is that you've taken each of your businesses and learned something from them. So tell us how you did the MLM for a few years and then went into corporate. Tell us how you started your product driven business. Tell us more about that.
Well, I've been a mompreneur since 1994. And then 19 years ago, Columbine happened. And for me as a mom, it was one too many school shootings.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it took for me. And I actually was at church. Our pastor read the gospel about when Jesus called the disciples. And really, let me preface this, that if it weren't for sinners like me, you wouldn't need church, but I went home that night as a calling to make a difference in the lives of people I'd never know, and started designing a clear backpack and launched Safety First, which was the beginning of my company. It took 6 years to find a manufacturer because I had to go overseas. I had no choice. We don't have the caliber machinery here in the United States, and I don't have the funding to go open my own factory. But went to China, work with a factory that works with the Fair Wage Federation, environmental laws, child protective laws, because if you're gonna have to manufacture overseas, I wanted to do it with integrity,
Mm-hmm.
but I was 10 years too early to market. And so launched our product line, closed the business, and started Word of Mom. I wanted to give women like me and like you a voice. Women who are building businesses from home, who have to combat the, you're going to do what? Are you crazy? I mean, why would you quit your job? I mean, unless you come from an entrepreneurial family,
Right.
the last people who are going to support you are your family and friends. They're going to
Yep.
tell you that you're nuts. Don't listen. That's why we started Word of Mom, to have other women sharing the wisdom of women and sharing their dreams, their goals, the empowering each other with what we've learned, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because nobody tells you when you start a business, oh yeah, everybody thinks you're just going to go like this, and everybody doesn't tell you that it's going to go like this and it's going to go like that. And it's the picture of the iceberg. You see this iceberg on top, you don't see that it's 50 times bigger underneath. And that's what it took to push us to the top. So, at this point, we reopened safety bags, and then looking at the marketplace, pro and college sports require anything larger than the palm of your hand be clear. So I took two bags we had already designed and we launched stadiumbags.com. And that has kind of put us on the map. Where that overnight success, 19 years in the making,
Right. Right.
and but people don't realize, what goes on. You look at Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, most of them have gone bankrupt 2 or 3 times, but one person was strong enough. It was actually my best friend for me, who had gone to the chiropractor. I was getting ready to sell my idea because I couldn't get it started. And she was like, you know what? I'm not the single mom of 3. I'm not the one who took the down payment of my house to start a business, but I was at the chiropractor, and the saying of the day was, remember, the mighty oak grew from one small acorn strong enough to stand its ground. And that has kept me going all these years. It really has.
Isn't that it? Well, so I was going to ask you a piece of advice, but I love that. So let's talk a little bit more on the benefits and the challenges of being a mompreneur, a glamourpreneur, because you talked about some of the challenges as far as, people think it's just this straight upward trajectory. So mindset obviously is one of the challenges.
Right.
What are some of the other challenges that you've encountered in these 3 different businesses that you've done?
Well, we've never really been funded. I never had credit. I was a single mom of 3, and while my children are worth millions to me, they're not collateral at a bank. And I took the down payment I saved for a house and bought and started a business. Hindsight being 2020, I'd have bought the house, because the years it took me to find a manufacturer, I'd have had all these years of collateral in this house. I'd have been flipping this house over and refinancing it 50 times over. I am really the poster child of everything you shouldn't do when you start a business. I've interviewed people that were like, oh, I read this book and I read that. And I took these classes and I went to SCORE and yeah, I just started a business. And then I've been figuring it out as I go along. And that's why I think a business plan is so important. Even if you are not looking for funding, just creating that roadmap for yourself that I can drive from here to California. I've done it twice. And I know as long as I keep going west and south, I'm going to go where I'm going to go, but I'm going to wind up a lot of different places if I don't have that plan. So writing out that business plan for yourself, it's a great way to check back. Have those projections. Where do you want to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? When I did my business plan, when I look back, I was doing year 5 and year 2 because things just started to happen, but it still gave me that something to drive for, and that little bit of guidance for myself. Reach out to people, go to people that are already successful and ask them how they've done it. What have been their secrets? Don't be afraid, because you know what? We want to share with you. We want to let you know, because if you win, we win.
Right.
It's the way it goes,
Right.
It's full circle.
Right. So what would you say have been some of your biggest benefits, the reason that you keep on going with all these different businesses?
Well, as a single mom, I never had to miss a ball game. I was on all of the class trips. I now have a 16-and-a-half-month-old grandson that Tuesdays are his. And you know what? I do interviews on Tuesday. I do pre-show interviews, and I'll have my headset. But I tell people all the time, it's like, if you hear somebody, that's my grandson. But you know what? We're word of mom, so we love kid cameos. And it's so funny because there'll be times that, the kids are just coming home. And it's like, don't worry. I've had women nurse their babies through interviews with us. The kids have come in and everything else. Dogs jump in. It's word of mom. That's what it's all about. It's
Right.
finding that balance. And
Right.
that to me is the biggest benefit, is just having the opportunity to be present throughout my kids' lives. And now my
Priceless.
grandsons. Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah.
So there are tons of moms out there who are looking for something, who want flexibility, who want to make money. And I think a lot of moms are really afraid. Pick your reason. They're afraid they're not going to be successful. They're afraid of any financial investment, any time that might be given to something other than their kids, their husband, their
Mm-hmm.
partners, their spouses. They're really afraid of a lot of different things. What pieces of advice would you have for those moms?
Don't life begins outside of your comfort zone. We live in this comfort zone. My comfort zone is a dot compared to where my life is. Because if you don't try, you don't succeed. I think of Thomas Edison, and people, oh my gosh, he failed 10,000 times. He's like, no, I learned 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. It really, attitude is everything. I read somewhere once that you don't win or lose, you win or you learn. And that
I
is
like that.
it's true. It's true. You win or you learn. And in the learning, it gives us courage. If you fail, it's because you're trying. If you don't try, you'll never succeed. Failure's always going to be part of it, but you have to take those obstacles, crush them up, and make them into the stepping stones that you use to move your business forward. You have to. It's the only way to do it.
I laugh. I'm so happy you said that, because it's funny. I talk to a lot of people about what I'm doing, my business that brought me here where I am today. And people say, oh, well, I can't do what you've done. I'm not like you. I'm not extroverted. And I laugh. I'm not extroverted. I'm not. All these things that people think are things that I've worked hard at, and I did. I lost 10 pounds my first month in business because I was so freaking scared. And I
Oh,
said my hashtag was hashtag do it scared. And I look back at that person. It's now been 7 years, and I'm so grateful I did. And I can't imagine that you, as a waitress, single mom of 3 young kids, that it was easy, like, ooh, I have tons of time and tons of money and tons of self-confidence. I'll just start a business. I think most of us are in similar places. And the difference between us and the people who haven't done it is we said yes and they didn't.
You know, it's funny because one of those recruitment tools that they use is, you know, if you can't afford to, then you really can't afford not to.
Exactly.
I hate that. I have to tell you, because people who say that very often don't realize that the person they're talking to literally might have a dollar to their name.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it
I
is, it's
literally,
tough.
it really is. In that MLM, when I go all the way back, I will never forget sitting in church and I had $20 in my wallet, and that was it. I was $400 short for the rent. Here I am.
Hmm.
At that point, my kids were, I think, 5, 7, and 9. And the basket came around, and I put that $20 in because I was like, okay, I have gas in the car, there's food in the refrigerator, my kids are healthy, and I've walked in faith through all of these journeys. And I came home that day and turned on my answering machine and had $900 worth of orders on my answering machine. That one little day that I took that, and I can't tell you how many times in my life, the last bit of money I have, I've stuck in that basket because I have faith in what I'm doing. I have faith in myself. And somebody once said to me, if money is your only problem, you don't really have a problem. And
Well,
it sounds trite, but it really is true in that sense that look at the problems that people have in this world. They're fighting health issues. They're watching their children not be healthy. You know, all of these things. So if that's you can make money. Money is out there. You can make it.
so I do want to ask you further about the money question, because I think there are a lot of single moms out there, and even not single moms, moms who maybe are not making money and their partners are, and so they feel like they don't have the money to spend. How did you
Mhm.
decide that you were going to go ahead and invest the money in starting a business, even though money was something that was not abundant for you? It was not an easy decision.
Well, you know, I felt like I didn't really have a choice. I knew I didn't want, you know, way back when with the MLM, I didn't want to stay in the service industry. Not that you cannot make, I mean, people don't realize that's why there are professional waiters and professional bartenders. You can make a phenomenal living doing that. I just didn't want to do that. I didn't, you know, and so I took that gamble. And the company that I worked with actually had kind of a program where you could put in a little bit, but they would match what you did and everything else to help you get started. And so I took that leap of faith. And it's the same thing that I do with my company when someone wants to do sales with us, you know, and they're working from home and it's a commission basis. I don't, the flip side of me, I don't charge for our samples and things like that. I actually will send out a full set of our samples, marketing materials, everything that they need. And as their sales come in, I'll take that out of like their first 3 sales, $15 at a time. So I don't ask them for anything up front because I know how hard that upfront start is. I really do. And you know, maybe it's a foolish way to look at it, but it's my business, so I get to do it the way I want to do it.
I know, isn't that glorious? So
It is. It is.
glorious.
So let's face it, if we can help somebody get started, if we're in that position to be able to get them going where they gain that confidence, what a great investment in your business.
Right, exactly. So before I let you go, thank you so much for sharing all these words of wisdom. Before I let you go, is there one more piece of advice that you would like to share with everybody? Because you really do have a wealth of experience. I tell you, back when I first started thinking about my business, my kids were close to where you were at. I think they were
Mhm.
5, 8, and 10. And I always
Wow.
had this long-term vision of not only, oh, when my kids are little, but when they're teenagers, where I am now, that I want to be able to be more present. And where you are now, I've had that vision of I want to be able to be a very present grandmother as well. So it's
Mhm.
so exciting to see somebody living the vision that I have in my head. So do
Aw.
you have other pieces of advice? There's so many women out there I know who are looking for something and what would you tell them? Because you're living it all. You've gone through all the stages.
Well, and I'm still living through stages. I'm still living through growth stages. Your business, again, it is not this. And no matter where you are in your business, you could be at the top of your business and have it drop in a minute. You never know. You have to be prepared, but believe in yourself. Believe in something bigger than you, because everyone wants to tell you how it's not going to work. Everyone is going to tell you all of the problems you are going to have. I am going to say to you that no matter what the problems you face, whatever obstacles you face, it is so worth it at the end of the day, because you are inspiring your children and your grandchildren and other people that are looking to you, because they're seeing that no matter how hard it's been, you dust yourself off, you pick yourself up, and you keep going. Because let's face it, even if you're working for someone else, you're going to have a really lousy day at work. If you're in customer service, you're a server, no matter what profession you are in, it is not going to be sunshine and roses all day long. But when you're doing it for yourself and you're building your own business and helping other people build their businesses and their dreams, it's worth it. It really is. And don't, unless you come, like I said it earlier, unless you come from an entrepreneurial family, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone rob you of your dreams. Somebody, I saw it once, it's like, don't let people pull you into their storm, bring them into your calm.
Nice.
So it's true. Just believe in yourself. You can do it. And look at the mompreneur next door. There are great stories and things that are going to inspire you. Listen to Word of Mom Radio. Come to wordofmomradio.com. Listen to amazing women who are paving the way and who have built themselves up. I mean, I've interviewed women 3 or 4 times that have closed businesses, restarted, retooled, rebranded until they found what worked for them. Don't give up on you. You're worth it.
You're worth it. What a wonderful way to end a super inspirational, motivational interview. I'm so excited that you took the time, and so appreciative that you took the time to share those pearls, those nuggets. And if people are looking for you, Dori, I think you're all over the place, right? Do you just want to share that, where people can find you before we let you go?
Please, please. Our clear bags, you can go to stadiumbags.com. We've just launched a phenomenal new website. And then wordofmomradio.com is our blog for Word of Mom Radio. And then you can go to WOMmedianetwork.com, which encompasses the radio show, the TV show, our marketing arm, and everything else. You can find me all over social media. And please reach out, because if I can help, I'm more than happy to.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I so appreciate it. And yes, be the calm in somebody's storm. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dori.
Thank you, Jennifer.